Welcome my favorite people, the rare gems. Friendships can be beautiful, but for Sigma females, the reality is often far from that ideal. They aren't giving up on connection or shutting themselves away from the world. They're simply walking away from relationships that feel shallow, manipulative, or draining. It's not about bitterness or being antisocial. It's about choosing authenticity over obligation. They'd rather stand alone with integrity than surround themselves with half-hearted bonds. When every friendship feels like a compromise, they decide it's better to step back than to settle. This isn't about loneliness, it's about preserving peace, energy, and clarity in a world that often demands conformity over genuine connection. Let's explore 12 harsh realities behind why Sigma women are choosing to walk away from friendships. Let's get started, rare gems. For a deeper insight, I encourage you to watch the whole video and share your thoughts in the comments section. Number 1. Cutting out energy parasites. Sigma females have a built-in radar for energy parasites, the kind of people who always seem to be in a crisis, endlessly need support, or expect attention without ever giving anything back. These are the folks who love to talk about their problems for hours but disappear the second the conversation turns away from them. Sigma females know the type all too well. They'll smile, nod, and listen, but they won't let themselves get sucked dry. They've learned that these emotional vampires are less interested in real friendship and more in having a personal therapist on standby. The moment they sense someone is just there to drain them, Sigma females don't hesitate. They cut ties fast and clean. There's no, let's see how it goes, or maybe they'll change. They've seen the pattern enough to know how it plays out, and they're not here to play the same exhausting game. Some might call it cold, but Sigma females call it smart. Why stick around for someone who's only there to take and never to give? Life is too short to be anyone's emotional battery pack. They might laugh off the behavior with a joke. Oh, you only call when you need something. How original. But they don't let it slide. Once they've seen the signs, it's game over. They're happy to save their energy for people who show up, give back, and don't treat friendship like a one-way street. In the end, they're not shutting people out. They're just refusing to carry someone else's emotional baggage. Number 2. Betrayal leaves deeper scars. For Sigma females, betrayal cuts deeper than just a moment of hurt. It feels like a profound violation of trust. They don't hand out loyalty casually. When they let someone into their inner circle, it's because they truly believe in that connection. So when someone betrays them, it's not just about the act itself, but what it reveals about the entire relationship. Trust isn't something they can easily rebuild because betrayal hints at something rotten beneath the surface, a hidden flaw that was always there, waiting to crack open. This isn't about holding grudges or being unforgiving. It's about refusing to overlook the reality that once someone shows they're capable of betrayal, there's no going back. Betrayal exposes the fragility of relationships, making them question if any bond is genuinely as strong as it appears. They aren't interested in patching things up or pretending nothing happened. Forgiveness might come, but trust, once shattered, can't be glued back together, at least not for them. Instead of giving second or third chances, Sigma females choose to step away, preserving their peace rather than risking another disappointment. They see betrayal as a crack in the very foundation of a friendship, a weakness that can't be ignored or smoothed over. So, they withdraw, not because they can't handle the pain, but because they refuse to live with a constant reminder that what they thought was solid ground was, in reality, quicksand all along. Number 3. Entitlement mentality. Sigma females have zero tolerance for entitlement. They've seen too many friendships turn sour the moment they stop playing the role of the giver. There's always that friend who acts like the world, and everyone in it, owes them something. Whether it's money, favors, or constant attention, these friends expect Sigma females to drop everything at a moment's notice and play the savior. But the second they can't, or won't, meet those demands, the guilt trips begin. Suddenly, the friendship isn't about mutual respect. It's about keeping someone else's expectations satisfied, and that's a game they refuse to play. Sigma females have no interest in being someone's personal ATM or emotional crutch. If a friend acts like they're owed money, time, or unwavering support without ever giving anything in return, it's a deal breaker. They've seen how quickly entitlement can turn a friendship into a one-way street, and they're not afraid to slam on the brakes. They know that real friends don't keep score, but they also know the difference between generosity and being taken advantage of. The moment someone starts acting like they deserve more than they're willing to give, Sigma females check out. They're not about to play along with the "you owe me" mentality that some friends cling to. If they can't or won't provide what's demanded, they know the fallout will come, and they're okay with that. A friendship based on entitlement isn't a friendship at all. It's a transaction. And Sigma females are done paying the price for someone else's expectations. Number 4. Sigma women are giving up on friendship because of gossip, jealousy, and competition. For Sigma females, the world of friendship can often feel like a high-stakes game of gossip, jealousy, and competition. 3 uninvited guests that never seem to leave the party. They've seen how quickly camaraderie can turn into a toxic environment where whispers and side eyes reign supreme. Instead of uplifting one another, some friends resort to gossiping behind each other's backs, playing a sneaky game of who's better rather than supporting each other's successes. Sigma females have zero patience for that nonsense. They can smell jealousy from a mile away. It's not just the green-eyed monster lurking in the shadows. It's the friend who can't celebrate your achievements without adding a caveat like, well, I could do that too if I wanted. No thanks. Sigma females are all about real support and authenticity. They'd rather cheer on their friends without feeling like they're in a race to the top. Competition among friends is another red flag. It's exhausting to feel like you have to outdo each other, turning every shared moment into a contest. Sigma females value collaboration over competition, and when a friendship becomes a rivalry, they're out. They'd rather surround themselves with genuine people who lift each other up, not tear each other down. In the end, they're not interested in petty dramas or insecure playmates. They want friends who can appreciate each other's victories and foster an environment of trust and authenticity. So when the drama starts, you can bet that Sigma females will be the first to exit stage left looking for a better drama-free scene. We appreciate you, rare gems, for being a treasured subscriber. Your consistent support is vital to us and fuels our passion for delivering meaningful content. Thank you for your engagement and encouragement. Number 5. Emotional investment without return. Sigma females invest deeply in friendships. They don't do things halfway. When they commit to a bond, they give their time, energy, and empathy without holding back. They listen carefully, support in times of need, and genuinely care about the people they let into their circle. But too often they find themselves on the other side of a one-sided equation, giving more than they receive. While they're there during the highs and lows, others seem to disappear when they need the same level of understanding and attention. It's not about keeping score, but after a while, the imbalance becomes glaring. Friends who claim to care often show up only when it's convenient or when they need something. The emotional effort they put into maintaining connections is rarely reciprocated, leaving them feeling drained. It's not uncommon for them to realize that while they've been offering loyalty and honesty, what they've received in return are half-truths, broken promises, or shallow gratitude. The experience leaves them questioning the value of friendships that seem to demand much, yet give so little. Instead of settling for relationships that leave them feeling used or undervalued, Sigma females choose to withdraw. They'd rather conserve their energy for themselves or for people who prove they're worth it, rather than waste it on friendships that only take. This choice isn't about bitterness. It's about self-preservation and knowing that their time, care, and emotional investment should never be poured into a bottomless well. Number 6. Friendship circles turn into comparison circles. Sigma females have become experts at spotting the subtle shifts in friendship dynamics that can turn a supportive circle into a comparison fest. It starts innocently enough, sharing stories about work achievements, relationships, or the latest vacation. But before they know it, the atmosphere shifts from camaraderie to a silent competition. One friend mentions landing a big promotion, and suddenly the air is thick with unspoken judgments. The next thing you know, they're all measuring worth by job titles, Instagram followers, or the number of fancy brunches they've been to. It's exhausting. Sigma females have little patience for this kind of energy. They're all about authenticity and personal growth, not about who has the fancier car or the trendiest job title. When they notice friends slipping into this comparison game, it feels less like a supportive community and more like a reality show where everyone is vying for the top spot. They know that envy and insecurity can quickly bubble to the surface, turning friends into frenemies. Rather than engage in this toxic cycle, they prefer to distance themselves from the pressure of competing. Who needs that stress when they can focus on their own paths and celebrate their unique journeys? Sigma females would much rather lift each other up than keep score. At the end of the day, they'd rather be surrounded by genuine friends who encourage their individuality than get caught in the chaos of comparison. After all, life's too short to worry about who has the best hashtag. Number 7. Most people can't handle their brutal honesty. For Sigma females, honesty isn't just a policy, it's a way of life. They have a knack for cutting through the nonsense and getting straight to the point. While this trait can be refreshing, it often leaves others feeling a bit shaken. They've learned that their straightforwardness can rattle people who might prefer sweet nothings over cold, hard truths. When a Sigma female says, "That dress isn't flattering, she's just trying to help," she doesn't want you to walk out looking like a walking traffic cone. But many people can't handle that kind of brutal honesty. Instead of appreciating the honesty, they label her intimidating or too intense, as if speaking the truth is some sort of crime. This reaction is puzzling for Sigmas, who view honesty as a form of respect. Why tiptoe around feelings when you could have an open conversation? Over time, they realize that some friendships just can't handle this level of sincerity. Rather than dilute their words to fit someone else's comfort zone, they often decide it's easier to step away entirely. Why waste energy trying to explain the value of honesty to someone who prefers a sugar-coated version of reality? Sigma females would rather save their breath for relationships where authenticity is cherished, not feared. In a world full of pretenders, they choose to be unapologetically real, even if it means walking away from those who can't handle the truth. After all, life's too short to pretend that everything is always sunshine and rainbows. Number 8. People project their insecurities onto them. Sigma females often find themselves in a peculiar position. Their calm and confident demeanor acts like a mirror that reflects the insecurities of those around them. While they're just trying to live their best lives, it seems some friends can't help but project their self-doubts onto them. Suddenly, every casual conversation becomes a battleground where insecurities are weaponized. Why can't I be more like you? How do you manage to stay so put together? It's flattering, but it can quickly become draining. Over time, these conversations turn from uplifting to exhausting, and Sigma females realize they're just being used as a projection screen for other people's issues. It's as if they've unwittingly signed up for a therapy session every time they hang out, with friends unloading their fears and frustrations instead of sharing joy and laughter. They begin to feel like emotional punching bags, absorbing negativity rather than exchanging support. Tired of playing the role of the strong, unshakable friend, they start to pull back. Who wants to be the go-to for someone else's crisis of confidence? Sigma females thrive in environments where authenticity reigns, not where they're constantly propped up as a shield against insecurity. They're done being the fixer in friendships that feel more like therapy sessions than genuine connections. So they choose to step away, seeking relationships that inspire growth without the baggage of someone else's insecurities. Because life is too short to be anyone's emotional crutch. Number 9. Friendship fatigue. Sigma females know all too well the exhaustion that comes with the endless cycle of friendships. It's not just about the effort of getting to know someone, it's the emotional drain of investing time, sharing stories, building trust, only to watch things crumble when the other person drifts away or reveals they weren't who they seemed. Each friendship that fades isn't just a goodbye. It's a reminder that relationships can be frustratingly temporary. There's only so much emotional energy they're willing to invest in people who might not stick around. It's not that they don't care, they care a lot. That's the problem. They care enough to notice when the effort's one-sided, when they're the only ones reaching out, or when a friend's commitment is half-hearted. This constant building and dismantling of friendships isn't just tiring. It's like running a marathon on a loop with no finish line in sight. Eventually, Sigma females decide they'd rather step off the track altogether. Why bother pouring energy into friendships that might fizzle out when they can put that same energy into something that lasts? They're not saying no to friends, they're just saying no to the wear and tear of the friendship merry-go-round. They choose quality over quantity, stability over chaos. They'd rather have a handful of real, deep connections than juggle a dozen superficial ones, and if that makes them seem aloof or detached, they're fine with it. They've made peace with their boundaries, and they're not getting back on that tiring emotional roller coaster anytime soon. Number 10. The cost of compromising principles. For Sigma females, compromising their values for the sake of friendship isn't just a bad idea, it's a deal breaker. They're not the type to bend their morals just to fit in or make someone else comfortable. If maintaining a friendship means turning a blind eye to behavior they don't agree with or pretending to be someone they're not, they'd rather walk away. It's not about being rigid or inflexible. It's about staying true to who they are. They've learned that the cost of abandoning their principles is way too high, and no amount of social acceptance is worth sacrificing their integrity. They know that people-pleasing is a slippery slope. Once you start compromising, it's hard to stop. The more you say yes when you mean no, the easier it becomes to lose sight of what matters. Sigma females have no interest in being liked if it means betraying their own beliefs. They won't laugh at jokes they don't find funny, go along with plans they don't support, or stay silent when something feels wrong. If that makes them difficult or stubborn, so be it. They'd rather face that judgment than the internal disappointment of selling themselves out. There's a kind of freedom in their approach. They don't need to chase approval or mold themselves into someone they're not. If a friendship requires them to compromise who they are, they'll opt out without a second thought. In the end, they'd rather stand alone with their integrity intact than be surrounded by people who don't truly know or respect them. Number 11. An unwillingness to babysit fragile egos. Sigma females don't have time to babysit fragile egos. They're not here to walk on eggshells or serve as emotional cheerleaders just to keep someone's insecurities in check. If a friendship requires them to censor their words, sugarcoat the truth, or dish out endless pats on the back, they're already halfway out the door. They'd rather be honest and direct, even if it means some uncomfortable truths. To them, real friends don't need constant validation or someone to coddle their feelings. They need accountability and a reality check when necessary. It's not that they don't care, they just don't see the point in pretending everything's perfect when it's not. If a friend's ego can't handle a little bit of bluntness or the occasional challenge, then the friendship's probably not built to last. Sigma females believe that true growth doesn't come from endless compliments or by always being the nice one. It comes from honesty, even if that means calling someone out or not playing therapist for the 100th time. They'd much rather be the friend who tells you when you've messed up than the one who nods along while you dig yourself into a hole. There's no patience for constant ego-soothing, and they'd rather walk away than waste time with people who can't handle a little bit of raw truth. If someone's looking for constant praise and reassurance, Sigma females will suggest a mirror, and then calmly exit the friendship before they have to tiptoe around one more unnecessary emotional meltdown. Number 12. Impatience with victim mentality. Sigma. Females don't have the patience to entertain the woe is me attitude that some people carry around like a security blanket. They get it, life's tough, challenges are real, but wallowing in self-pity? That's a line they refuse to cross. They're big on accountability and believe that if you don't like something in your life, you take action, not sit around complaining about it. So when a friend constantly plays the victim, blaming everyone else for their problems while doing nothing to change the situation, Sigma females feel their energy draining fast. They're the ones who listen once, maybe even twice, and offer honest advice. But if it's clear that the person isn't interested in solutions, only in complaining, their patience evaporates. They're not heartless. They just don't have time for endless cycles of negativity. Sigma females want friends who are ready to face reality head-on, not hide behind excuses. There's only so much poor me they can take before they politely but firmly move on. If you're looking for sympathy without accountability, a Sigma female is not the friend for you. They might crack a joke like, "I can give you some cheese to go with that wine," but their tolerance for constant complaining is non-existent. They want friendships where growth is the goal, not pity parties. If someone's stuck in a loop of self-pity, Sigma females are out the door, already moving forward while others are busy blaming the world. In a world that often prioritizes superficial connections over genuine relationships, Sigma females are choosing to step back from friendships that drain them. They recognize the importance of their energy and mental well-being, and they're no longer willing to invest in relationships that leave them feeling depleted. It's not just about cutting ties. It's about prioritizing authenticity over pretense. Friendships that thrive on comparison, entitlement, or emotional dependency simply don't align with their values. Instead of accepting emotional labor without reciprocity, they'd rather focus on building connections that uplift and inspire. Sigma females value honesty and depth, and when those qualities are lacking, it becomes clear that it's time to move on. This journey isn't about bitterness or resentment, it's about self-preservation and empowerment. Sigma females are learning that it's perfectly okay to be selective about who they let into their lives. They want relationships that resonate with their true selves, not those that require them to compromise their principles. As they embrace their independence and strength, they are redefining what friendship means on their own terms, seeking connections that foster growth and joy. So, while some may see their withdrawal as aloofness, it's really a powerful step toward living authentically and surrounding themselves with those who truly appreciate them for who they are. In the end, they're not giving up on friendship. They're simply raising the bar. Thank you, Rare Gems, for tuning in. Stay safe and stay vigilant as always. God bless.